Shedeur Sanders responds to his lack of first-team reps. The Cleveland Browns have Shedeur Sanders working strictly with the backups to start training camp, which does not bode well for his chances of winning the starting job. Publicly, however, Sanders is saying all the right things about his status. Sanders was asked Friday why he thinks he has not been receiving any reps with the first-team offense. The rookie shrugged it off and simply said that decision was out of his control. "That's not my place to answer, to even be able to give the answer to that," Sanders said. "I feel like it's not in my control, so I'm not even going to think about that or have that even in my thought process. There's a lot of people that want to have the opportunity to be at this level, and I'm here, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity." Sanders slipped to the 5th round of the NFL draft, and few players selected there get a legitimate chance to win a starting job. Of course, Sanders is no ordinary 5th-round quarterback, as he was viewed by outsiders as a potential first-round pick. Sanders was believed to have hurt himself by going through his pre-draft interviews in an entitled manner. Perhaps he has learned his lesson, as he is not striking an entitled tone at all in these public comments. There appears to be a clear favorite to land the Browns' QB job, and it is not Sanders. That will definitely remain true as long as he isn't even getting a look with the first team, but he is handling it well so far. The mid-afternoon sun glared off the orange Browns' helmets as the final whistle echoed across the practice fields in Berea. Players trotted toward the locker room, chattering, laughing, reviewing plays under their breath. But Shedeur Sanders lingered on the field, kneeling at the 30-yard line, helmet tucked under his arm. For the 4th consecutive day, he had taken most of his snaps with the 2nd and 3rd units. He watched Kenny Pickett huddle with the first-team offensive line, watched Dylan Gabriel slip in for a few drives, and felt the weight of his own repetitions. Fewer, faster, scrutinized by every pair of eyes in the facility. He knew what people were whispering. The rookie's not ready. The name might be bigger than the game. Maybe he's just here for the headlines. But when the cameras caught him after practice, the narrative took an unexpected turn. Facing the media, a cluster of microphones greeted him just outside the tunnel. Reporters leaned in, hungry for quotes that might fuel the endless cycle of talk shows and tweets. Shedeur wiped sweat from his brow, squared his shoulders, and met their gaze. "Shedeur, you've been mostly with the 2s and 3s, one reporter said. "Are you frustrated about not getting first-team reps?" For a moment, he didn't answer. He thought about what his father would say, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, the man who'd taught him to speak truth but never lose grace. He thought about the hours he'd spent in the film room when no one was watching, about the way he'd thrown to equipment managers after practice because the starting receivers were cooling down. Then he spoke, voice calm but carrying a quiet fire. Frustrated, he shook his head. "Nah, I'm hungry." The reporters paused, waiting for more. The rookie's philosophy. "I came here to earn everything," Shedeur continued. "First-team reps, second-team reps. It doesn't matter what group I'm with. Every snap is an opportunity to show I belong. That's how I've always approached football." He glanced back at the field, where coaches were folding up drills. "Look, you all saw me in Colorado. I didn't walk in and get handed anything. I had to prove myself there too. This is the same story, just a bigger stage, faster defenders, and way more cameras." Another reporter asked, "But don't you think to compete for QB when you need those reps with the starters?" Shedeur smiled, a slow grin that carried a hint of challenge. "Of course I want those reps. Of course I think I can run with the ones. But I don't control the rotation. I control what I do when my number's called. And when that ball's in my hands, first team or third team, it's the same mindset. Execute, lead, and stack good plays. That's how you earn more. Extra work, extra heart." Later, after the cameras moved on to other players, Shedeur quietly made his way back onto the field with a couple of practice squad receivers. The stadium lights flickered on as the sky shifted to gold and purple. He took snap after snap, working on quick-release slants, deep comebacks, and improvised scrambles. "Again," he called, sweat darkening his undershirt. "Man, you sure?" One receiver laughed. "Yeah," Shedeur said, smiling. "We're not leaving until we hit that route perfect." Word spread fast. A few linemen wandered back out to watch. Even a defensive back jogged over, volunteering to shadow routes so Shedeur could practice throwing against live coverage. "He's different," one of the assistant coaches whispered to another. "Most rookies would be pouting right now. He's out here building chemistry with guys who might not even make the final roster." A moment in the locker room. Back inside, as players changed into street clothes, Kenny Pickett approached Shedeur. The veteran's tone was easy but respectful. "Hey man," Kenny said. "I saw you out there late again. You don't have to prove it all in 1 week. Just keep stacking days." Shedeur nodded, appreciating the gesture. "I know. I'm not worried, though. I've been the underdog before. I kind of like it." Kenny chuckled. "Keep that edge. This league will test you."